And a fabulous Tuesday. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. We have a lot to get into, so make sure you got your popcorn, your drinks, you're ready, you're comfortable, and let's get into some things here. As you come in, if you've been on the live before, you know the drill. Let me know if you're a part of the Aries crew by leaving hashtag Aries crew in the comments. If you're a first-time watcher, in the comments, I want to give you a shout out for stopping by, spending part of your day here. Welcome to Aries Rose TV. If you are not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and on this channel, we talk about streaming shows, movies, TV shows, celebrity news, world news, local news, politics, basically anything I find interesting. I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. We have a great show lined up for you tonight, so we're going to get into the topics that we're going to be talking about. But before we do that, if you're on Instagram, follow us there, Aries Rose TV. I will follow you back. Let me know that you came from YouTube when you follow us on Aries Rose TV. So we post pop culture, world news, local news on there, reviews about movies, shows. So that's another place where you can connect with us. We'd love to chat with you more on there. And then we have a nightly show that we do. So we're on here every weeknight. So make sure you stop by where you can get your updates on pop culture, world news, local news, entertainment, all that good stuff. You can get it all in one place here on Aries Rose TV. And we also have ability to get some sponsorships on the channel. So if you have a business or a service that you'd like to have discussed here on the channel, reach out to me. I'm going to leave the email where you can correspond with me for any business inquiries in the description, and we'll go over pricing and availability. But that's a new feature that we're offering on here as an option. So if you have a business or service you want to advertise, definitely reach out to me. I'd like to collaborate and work with you. And if you've been on these lives before, you're probably aware of this, but if you are new, welcome. Appreciate you stopping by and being here. We recently lost the father to my youngest children. He passed away unexpectedly in the beginning of June, so we're putting together a memorial for him. We were not financially prepared for him to pass away. We want to try and celebrate his life for his family and friends. He brought a lot of joy to all of us, and he had 2 young kids. So we just want to have a place where everybody can come together and remember him and share stories, and also be able to share stories with his children, since they unfortunately won't get an opportunity to grow up with him. It's been a pretty devastating time for us, and we're just learning how to navigate him not being here and everything that comes along with having to deal with somebody passing. So definitely riding a grief wave. It comes in waves. Some days are good. Some days it's just really hard to get up and do things. So I do plan on doing a live to kind of talk about this journey, in case there may be some other people going through it too, been documenting my feelings and everything that's been going on, and I want to come on and share that here. So I'll be doing a special video on that kind of once all of the dust settles on this and I'm a little less emotional about it, to talk about that, because hopefully it can help somebody else who may be dealing with something like that. It's been quite a journey for me, but we do have a GoFundMe that we have up. So if you are able to donate, any amount is greatly appreciated. No donation is too small. We do have that up on the communities page, and I will also post the GoFundMe in the description of this video as well. Thank you so, so much for anything you can do to support. It is greatly appreciated, even if it's just sharing the GoFundMe link. We take a pause here for a couple comments. We got Elizabeth Smith. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let me know, are you a first-time watcher or part of the Aries crew? And McKinley, welcome. Thank you so much for coming by. Let me know, are you a part of the Aries crew or a first-time watcher? Appreciate you so much. And let's get into what we are going to be talking about today. So we got a partial Diddy verdict. And you're a first-time watcher, Elizabeth. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And shout out to McKinley. Appreciate you subscribing. And for Elizabeth, I do sell these earrings. So if you are interested, I will post some information here in the description box here. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I like these too. So if you like statement earrings, yes, 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 I got something for you. Pretty affordable as well. And thank you, McKinley, for joining the Aries crew. We appreciate you for being here. Very happy to have you a part of it. But we got a partial verdict in this Diddy trial. So all the charges, the jury has not come back with a verdict, but we have a partial one. So we got to get into which ones they have already given a verdict on. Let's see what's going on with that. And Tony Buzbee, he is the attorney that's pretty much been all over the place with these lawsuits against Diddy and Jay-Z. Well, Jay-Z had a lawsuit against him. And Tony Buzbee got some good news. He recently had a win in that lawsuit. So, of course, we got to go into that because, that was a big thing when he tried to sue Jay-Z. And then Jay-Z kind of came back at him strong, denying the allegations. And then once that lawsuit got dropped with prejudice, meaning that it can never be filed again, then Jay-Z went on to sue Tony Buzbee and that Jane Doe as well for that lawsuit. So we got to get into what Tony Buzbee won related to that. And we are going to take a quick pause because we're going to give a shout out to Elizabeth Smith for subscribing. Appreciate you so much. Welcome to the Aries crew. Happy to have you here. And Halle Bailey, who has recently been going through some custody situations with DDG, was out with a mystery man. So it looks like she's moving on with her life, and we got to get into that, see what information we can find on what's going on there. And Gina Huynh, the ex-girlfriend of Diddy, who was MIA throughout the whole trial, has popped back up and has some thoughts on it. So we got to get into what she's talking about. And let's get into here our first story. So we're going to talk about a little Haley or Halle Bailey. I always want to call her Haley. Halle Bailey being out with a mystery man. So when she started dating DDG, she was getting a lot of pushback because people felt like he wasn't somebody that she should be with. She should be dating somebody else. But we love who we love, whether or not people think that's the person for us. We got to go through some things. But nonetheless, their relationship kind of blossomed. And then next thing you know, there were rumors that Halle was pregnant, and she was denying them, as well as her sister Chloe Bailey. And then she came clean after the baby was born, their beautiful son Halo, and posted a picture of his little hand, I think it was, with the wristband that said Halo. And then she finally admitted that when everybody thought she was pregnant, she was pregnant, even though they denied it. And they share a beautiful baby boy together. And in the beginning, they seemed like a great young family. Everything was going well. They did a lot of recording together, including the baby in there as well. And then, at some point, the relationship just wasn't going to work out for whatever reason, and they separated. And then it's gotten a little messy in between. There's been allegations on both sides and court filings for restraining orders and custody of the baby. So they've had some things going on here, and it looks like she is potentially moving on. So let's get into this reporting from TMZ here. And this is Halle Bailey tanning in a thong with mystery man amid DDG custody battle. Halle Bailey found the perfect way to relax in Italy after her grueling custody battle with her ex DDG, the company of a new beau, while her buns baked in the sun. The Little Mermaid actress was in Positano, Italy on Saturday, where she and her mystery man were spotted splashing, kissing, and cuddling under the Mediterranean Sea. Halle looked happy posing her bikini bottom for her chocolate dread-headed man, but couldn't prevent her thong going up the wrong way. Now that's pretty funny. The mystery man seemed to be enjoying himself too. Ditto for his iPhone camera roll. Halle was granted temporary custody of Halo, the son she shares with DDG, back in May after she made fiery allegations of DV against the rapper/streamer. They have a hearing scheduled this month to determine permanent custody of the 1-year-old. Halle will be overseas for the next few months. Filming Italiana opposite Roger Jean Page. And DDG could very well be moving on himself. We recently spoke to the influencer India Love after their streamer university fraternization went viral. Who knows what the future holds for them. Halle's clearly not staying dry this summer, though. So let me know what your thoughts are. Are you glad that she's moving on? Did you like Halle with DDG? I hope the best for them. the custody situation, all of that is just really messy, along with the allegations between the two of them. So I just truly hope everything can be worked out for the sake of their child and that they're able to co-parent in a peaceful way. And if it's not meant for them to be together, they're both able to live their lives without any worries or these kind of things hanging over them, so that they're able to, fully be with their other partners or whatever they may end up doing. So we'll keep you posted on how the custody situation goes as information is available. But let me know your thoughts in the comments on the former couple here and Halle potentially moving on. And let's check out what Gina Huynh, who is one of the ex-girlfriends of Diddy, who was victim number 3 that was supposed to testify in this federal trial that's currently going on right now. The jury's deliberating, but she was supposed to testify, and then she just went MIA. Couldn't reach her or the lawyer, and apparently she wasn't really cooperating. She wasn't really cooperating with the feds at the time of the investigation on their end, so they weren't even 100% sure if she was going to show up or not, which she didn't, and she did not testify, and she's just popped back up. And we're going to talk about what she said to TMZ when she was found about the Diddy trial and potential verdict here. And this is reporting from TMZ. It's Diddy's ex, Gina Huynh. "I won't be scared if he walks free. He's not dangerous. The prospect of Diddy possibly being acquitted in his criminal trial isn't weighing on ex-girlfriend, whose name kept coming up in witness testimony because she says she's not scared of him. Diddy's ex, Gina Huynh, was leaving a Whole Foods in Las Vegas on Monday when a photogog asked her if she thought Diddy was going to walk free. Gina says she's not sure what the jury verdict will be. Deliberations started a few hours before she was asked the question. But if he does get acquitted, it sounds like she won't run for the hills. Diddy's ex says he never did anything dangerous to her, which is interesting considering prosecutors were trying to get her to testify in the Diddy trial. Prosecutors confirmed last month Gina was victim number 3 in the Diddy indictment, and the document labeled her as an alleged victim of trafficking. Gina didn't end up taking the stand during the trial, with the feds saying early on in the case they were having a difficult time contacting her and weren't sure she would show up to testify, even with a subpoena. Diddy's defense attorney, Mark Agnifilio, told the court he had a hard time believing federal prosecutors couldn't track her down and compel her to testify. Instead, he claimed the feds were choosing not to call her as a witness. "We broke the story. She never cooperated with prosecutors and made it clear she did not want to testify." Gina's name still popped up several times during the witness testimony. Diddy's exes and alleged victims, Cassie and Jane, both testified about jealousy involving Diddy and Gina's relationship. And former Diddy assistant George Kaplan testified he once saw an angry Diddy throwing objects at Gina's head. But here she's saying Diddy isn't dangerous, even though in the past she's alleged he was physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive. Let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think she was somehow intimidated to change her feelings on that, or if that's legitimately how she feels? She did do an interview with Tasha K years ago talking about her relationship with Diddy, and she did bring up the different situations that those two had been in. So I don't know if she's just singing a different tune now or she feels differently on it, or if that may have been because she was intimidated or made to feel that she has to state something otherwise. But definitely want to hear what you think. Let's keep that conversation going in the comments. Definitely get some interesting perspectives from the Aries crew. Want to hear your thoughts on this. And now we're going to get into this win that Tony Buzbee got on this Jay-Z case. So he definitely got a lot of attention when there was questions in this story from the young woman that claimed that she was AR'd and other things by Jay-Z and Diddy. So that one really, there were so many holes in that particular story. It was kind of unfortunate that that lawsuit got brought on anyway, because it really seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of research done with it in advance. So the young woman had initially sued, and this was the Jane Doe. Her identity has not been uh, revealed yet, at least not based on her attorney and herself giving her identity. And she first was suing Diddy for this, and then it was amended to include Jay-Z. And once Jay-Z's name was brought in, of course, that put that lawsuit in the headlines because Jay-Z is a huge name and he's a force in the hip hop world. He's a mogul. He's a billionaire, if I'm not mistaken. So his name is pretty important to his branding, to be able to get business deals, opportunities, and having your name associated with something like that, especially when this woman was saying she was underage when it occurred, is not a good look. And Jay-Z is a family man now. He's got 2 daughters and a son. So especially when you have young daughters, it wasn't a good look. And Jay-Z was not going to take those allegations lying down. And I don't blame him. So he came out the gate pretty much fighting back on that and denying having anything to do with it. And then this young lady went on to network news to tell her story, and the story it didn't even seem like it could have been plausible. And I don't know if it did or did not happen. I can just say the story that I heard when I heard that, it was like either on ABC or NBC. I can't remember the station. If you remember which TV channel that was on, let me know in the comments here. That story, it didn't seem to make sense. 1 plus 1 was not equaling 2. So I was not surprised when that lawsuit ended up getting dismissed. But I was surprised when when they ended up dropping the lawsuit. But I was surprised it was dropped with prejudice, because the woman is saying that she's not saying that it didn't happen. They're just not going to pursue the lawsuit, which makes no sense, because if it actually happened and you're standing by your story, why are you dropping it, but dropping it in a way you can never file it again? Very odd, but that's where we are with it. Well, because that happened, Jay-Z took action on them even filing that lawsuit to begin with. And that's understandable, because again, it could affect his money, his life, his family as well. So he had to do something to make sure that his name was cleared and not associated with that, especially because he said he had nothing to do with it to begin with. So let's get into this reporting from TMZ about this win that Tony Buzbee got on this particular case. So this one is Tony Buzbee to Jay-Z. I'm going to give your lawyers a buzz cut. I want a lot of money for the dismissed lawsuit. So it says Tony Buzbee is taking a victory lap around Jay-Z, because after a judge dismissed a lawsuit Jay-Z filed against him, Buzbee told us he's planning to go after Hove's attorneys for a lot of money. Here's the deal. Jay-Z was suing Buzbee for extortion and defamation until a California judge stepped in Monday and tossed the lawsuit out of court. Buzbee's now licking his chops, telling TMZ the case was dismissed, quote, in a lengthy, well-reasoned opinion, end quote, and he will now be asking for a lot of money for attorney's fees, end quote, defending a meritless case, end quote. Tony adds, quote, we have a long history of winning. We won't be deterred in our important work, end quote. Alex Spiro's law firm represented Jay-Z in his lawsuit against Buzbee, which was filed last year after Buzbee filed a separate lawsuit claiming Jay-Z raped a 13-year-old girl alongside Diddy. And Spiro tells TMZ, quote, we are surprised and disappointed by this ruling, which turns on the misapplication of California law on the admissibility of the investigator's statements, end quote. Spiro says the judge is just asking the higher court to weigh in and make the final decision. And we got an update as of 3:09 p.m. We confirmed this afternoon that Jay-Z and his legal team have filed a notice of appeal with the court over today's ruling. So there could still be more to come, and we will definitely keep you posted on anything else that may occur with this lawsuit that was dismissed here in this Tony Buzbee Jay-Z, I'm going to call it a saga. I don't think it's going to be over yet, and I'm thinking it probably won't be over anytime soon, because Jay-Z seems really upset with the fact that even happened. So I can just see him exhausting all things that can be done before letting this go. So we'll definitely keep you posted here for your updates. And to make sure that you're always getting those updates and you know what's going on, make sure you hit that subscription button. We'd love to have you a part of the Aries crew. We have fun over here. When you do subscribe, let us know in the comments. We want to give you a shout out and welcome you to the crew. Then make sure you hit that notification bell so you can find out every time I go live, post on the community page, upload reels, videos, all of that good stuff. And on the community page, YouTube has changed it up a little bit. So you can also post back to me and you can put in, current events, things that are going on. If you have any questions, we can have discussions on there. If you have ideas for show topics, things you want me to talk about, you can post them on there. All you have to do is be a subscriber to the page. So if you are not one already, it's a great time to join. And then go check out that communities tab. I use it pretty regularly. So come and chat with me there. I will definitely chat back with you, and let's get into this partial Diddy verdict. So let's see what counts they did come back with a verdict for. And here we go. So this is reporting from TMZ. And this is Diddy trial jury reaches verdict on 4 counts, no verdict on RICO, deliberations to continue. So Diddy's one step closer to learning his fate because the jury in his federal criminal trial says they have reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts against him, but they don't have a verdict on the racketeering conspiracy charge. The music mogul is huddling with his lawyers in the federal courthouse in Manhattan, where he stood trial for the past 7 weeks. He was brought out of a holding cell after jurors sent a note revealing they had reached a verdict on 4 counts. The note says jurors were unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as they have jurors on each side. Count 1 is racketeering conspiracy. Judge Arun Subramanian is waiting for prosecutors and the defense to send proposals for how to proceed. The options on the table are send the jury back to continue deliberations and reach a verdict on racketeering, which both sides say they want. The other option would be to allow the partial verdict and allow them to hang on racketeering. The jury began deliberations Monday after hearing testimony from the prosecution's 34 witnesses, seeing a bunch of exhibits, listening to closing arguments, and receiving legal instructions from the judge. Diddy is charged with 5 counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking involving ex-girlfriends Cassie Ventura and Jane, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. He pled not guilty and turned down a plea deal before the trial. Diddy faces up to life in prison if the jury finds him guilty of racketeering conspiracy. He faces at least 15 years if the jury finds him guilty of trafficking. He faces a maximum sentence of 10 years if the jury finds him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. There's a chance the jury convicts Diddy on all charges, finds him guilty on some of the charges, or acquits him on all the charges. Stay tuned. So it looks like they haven't released what that verdict is yet. There's an update as of 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Judge Arun Subramanian just dismissed the jury for the day. Jurors will come back Wednesday morning and head straight for the jury room to continue deliberations. So let me know your thoughts in the comments here. Do you think he will be found guilty, or he will be acquitted? Do you think they've done a good job of proving their case? Definitely want to hear your thoughts on this Diddy trial. I just don't know which way it could go at this time. Give me a second. It could be either way. For myself, I don't know that I think everything that's been discussed fully proves the case, but I am very curious to see how the jury interprets all the testimony and exhibits that they have seen throughout these 7 weeks here. And let's see what other stuff we have here. Diddy trial. Diddy trial tells his mom "love you" after jury reaches partial verdict here. And this reporting from TMZ, it says Sean Diddy Combs is in a real nail biter after a partial verdict was reached Tuesday in the federal criminal trial. The mogul tried to calm his family's nerves. Diddy turned to his mother Janice, seated behind him in the second row, after she asked him a few muffled questions inside the New York City courtroom. Diddy then leaned in and whispered to his mom, "I'll be all right, love you," while thumping his chest. The Bad Boy Records CEO also said something under his breath to his 6 adult children who were present in the gallery, including Christian, Justin, and Quincy. The children then exited the courtroom with sad faces. This isn't the first time Diddy has shown his affection towards his family during the 7-week trial, making similar comments throughout. Of course, all of this comes against the backdrop of a dramatic day 2 of deliberations. 12-person jury reached a verdict on 4 out of the 5 charges against Diddy, namely 2 counts of trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. The jury was hung on the racketeering charge, but the judge tasked them with continuing their deliberations Wednesday. So Tuesday could be a make or break day. Stay tuned. So tomorrow, excuse me, could be a make or break day. Stay tuned. Give me a second. So let me know. Let me know what you think it's gonna be for him. I just think that Diddy has a long road ahead of him as far as the court of public opinion. I think even if he is found not guilty and acquitted on the charges, it's still going to be challenging for him because people can't unsee what's already come out, especially that CNN video, and they also can't unhear what has been said. So I think it will affect his ability to get brand deals and other opportunities because businesses just aren't going to want to be associated with that. It's not a good look and it's not going to help elevate their brand. So I don't know that it will be as easy for him, but I think he'll always have supporters and people who would be willing to work with him. Like Kanye's been, very open about his support for him, and he's made music with his son, so I'm sure he's willing to make music with him, but it's not probably going to be as broad of a support as Diddy had before. Really, Cassie filed that lawsuit in November of 2023. So I think he's got an uphill battle. Let's see if his lawyers did their job and are successful in giving any doubt to the jury, because it just takes one. It just takes one person not to fully believe that it's been proven, and that could make or break what sentencing he gets. And let's see, we got a couple more pieces about this here. So this is reporting from TMZ. Diddy trial jury asked judge about rug distribution detail and second round of notes from jury. Hours after deliberations in Diddy's federal trial hit a bump when the jury foreperson sent a note about juror number 25 being unable to follow instructions. A second communication from the jury room was sent to the judge. Excuse me, my allergies are going nuts here. And around 4:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday, Diddy was brought back into the courtroom by federal marshal Judge Arun Subramanian announced he received 2 new notes from the jury. The first note sought clarification on the racketeering related count. Quote, if an individual asks for a controlled substance and the person hands it over, is it distribution? End quote. The defense and prosecution attorneys both told the judge they wanted to weigh in on this note. The judge said the second note was a statement, not a question. The jury was planning to go home at 5 p.m. today. Subramanian said he'd bring jurors out to the courtroom, and he told them he'd answer their first question first thing tomorrow morning. He said they'd skip the courtroom and go straight into the jury room to resume deliberations at 9 a.m. sharp. After they left, prosecuting attorney Maureen Comey told the judge she thinks the answer to the distribution question is yes. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilio said he wanted more time to discuss with his team. The judge ordered the 2 sides to confer and have an answer in an hour. And let's see if we can find out how that went. All right, so we got this here. Okay. This reporting from TMZ. It's the second day of jury deliberations in the Sean Diddy Combs federal trafficking and racketeering trial in New York City. Tuesday arguments over a late afternoon note sent to the judge Monday shed some light on the opposing legal team's strategies. Jurors sent a note to Judge Arun Subramanian asking, quote, if an individual asks for a controlled substance and the person hands it over, is it distribution, end quote. In the back and forth in the courtroom, the prosecution team wanted a clear yes answer to the question. The defense team simply wanted a restatement of the judge's original instructions, which seems to indicate they wanted the jury to continue to wrestle with the issue because the jury presumably already had the instructions packet when they sent the note to the judge. The judge listened to the lawyers and then sent a note on Tuesday morning reading, quote, "The word distribution means actual, constructive, or attempted transfer. To distribute simply means to deliver, to pass, or to hand over something to another person or to cause it to be delivered, passed on, or handed over to another. Distribution does not require a sale." End quote. After Submarinian sent his note, the court was adjourned. The jury went straight back to deliberations. On Monday morning, the judge delivered instructions to the jury after the prosecution and the defense team rested their cases Friday. About an hour after the jury began deliberating, the foreperson sent out a note to the judge informing the court that juror number 25, quote, "could not follow your honor's instructions," end quote. The judge reminded the jury of their own sworn obligation and instructed them to keep going with their deliberations. Nick Rizzuti, a retired New York Police Department internal affairs cop who now works as a court security officer in courtroom 26A, where the Diddy trial is being held, has walked the notes from the jury to the judge and back again with the judge's responses. Only Rizzuti is allowed to take the written notes, read them over, and walk them to the judge's deputy. He posted up outside the jury room as they continue to deliberate. No one else is allowed to interact with them during this time. He'll also be the first to know when we have a verdict. So we'll see if we'll have a verdict as early as tomorrow, Wednesday, which of course we will be live for our evening show. So make sure you are on as well, because we will definitely let you know once that verdict has come down. And we got one more story here that we're going to talk about for this Diddy trial, but a quick interlude in between there. We are going to do a live on the new Jurassic World Rebirth movie. It is a very good movie. Had a chance to see that. Highly recommend it. So we're going to do a review on that and a review on Megan 2.0, so you know whether or not it's worth going out to see those movies. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be doing more movie reviews on here. I absolutely love going to the movies. I go a lot, so I want to come on and talk about what's worth going out to see, what you can wait on, what you should just wait for until it comes out at home, so you can get all your entertainment news right over here on Aries Rose TV. And now we're going to jump back in to this final story on the Diddy trial here. This reporting from TMZ. Diddy's on the verge of finding out if he's going to federal prison or being set free, because the jury is in his criminal trial is nearing the finish line in terms of a verdict. Jury came back Tuesday afternoon and said they had reached a verdict on 4 of the 5 charges against Diddy. But they were deadlocked on the racketeering conspiracy charge. Deliberations only began Monday, and jurors asked earlier Tuesday for transcripts about some Cassie testimony regarding freak-offs, and they need to find one instance of Diddy using force, fraud, or coercion to get Cassie to engage in a freak-off to find him guilty of ex-trafficking. The jury didn't ask for any transcripts about Jane, so it's unclear where they fall on the ex-trafficking count involving her. Diddy may be in big trouble with Cassie and the Mann Act charges because during testimony it felt like prosecutors were able to nail him on the transporting male escorts across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. Racketeering was always the big question here from day one, and that's the only count the jury is hung up on, and they will come back Wednesday for further deliberation. But it's possible there's a hung jury on the RICO charge. The rest of the charges are settled, but we don't know if the jury found him guilty or not guilty, but the verdict could be read in court Wednesday, because the looming July 4th holiday might nudge jurors to come together and wrap this up. Diddy feels like the loser today, but he tells his family in the courthouse he loves them and he will be all right. Take that as you will. And I just I'm going to keep an eye out here. We're going to see how everything goes. I think this is going to set a precedent one way or another. If he is found guilty, it's probably going to change the way a lot of people move in this music industry, because I don't think Diddy is the only one doing what Diddy did. If there's one thing that we learned during this trial, he did not do it alone. Diddy was not in all places doing all things. He had people working with him. And he's probably not the only person that is doing what he did, and I don't think that it was probably ever seen as being something like that, but well, I guess that's a risk you take. If not everybody who is engaging in these things is 100% on board, you're opening yourself up for the potential of these types of things to happen, even if it seems like at the time they are on board. So we'll see what happens there. I think it should just change how people move anyway, because nonetheless, who wants to deal with the trial and possibly having to be incarcerated during the time that you're waiting for the trial, and you got to go through the whole situation of a trial? It's just best to avoid it to begin with. It's costly. It's nothing you want to have to deal with if you don't have to anyway. But I do think this trial is going to set a precedence one way or another, if he's found guilty or not guilty. And we're going to be watching for all of it. So make sure you stay tuned on the page. Catch us when we go live tomorrow night here. We'll see if we have a verdict to share. Thank you so much for watching. If you've been on this long, I'd love to have you a part of the Aries crew. All you got to do is hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell so you can find out every time I go live, post on the shorts, post on the community page, or upload videos. Definitely follow us on Instagram if you are there. Follow us on Aries Rose TV. Let us know that you are from YouTube and we will follow you back. Please check out the description box here. I will have my contact information if you would like to be a sponsor on the channel. Definitely reach out. We have some affordable packages available. Love to collaborate here. And also, if you can, we will be posting a GoFundMe there. No amount is too small. If you are able to donate to support a memorial I'm putting together for the father of my children that passed away, would really, really appreciate that. Even if it's just sharing the GoFundMe out, any support is greatly appreciated. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your morning, day, or afternoon, depending on which point you are watching this. We'll see you tomorrow, and take care.